Have you heard? It's truck news.
No! The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck. 'Cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel, electricity, and on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Whoa, whoa.
It's the Truck Show with your host, Holman.
Here I am. I know it's been a couple weeks since you've heard from me, and if you've been on the Podshed Insiders, you would know why. Took a little bit of time off the last couple weeks because I lost my dad. And over July 4th, he passed away from complications due to leukemia, and he was only 70. And it was it's been a tough couple weeks. I've tried to get on the mic and put some shows together for you guys, and I apologize for not being able to do that, but I'm at a point now where I can get through the episode, but really wanted to dedicate this episode to Bill Holman. He was an amazing man, one of the good guys, and I miss him dearly. I miss him every day. He was definitely too young, and I know I'm not alone in losing my dad. Some of you listening have been through this. Some of you probably haven't lost a parent, and it's hard when they pass away. Somebody you love passes away ahead of what you believe is their time. And there wasn't a time since his diagnosis in November that I didn't think that he was going to make it. And he was an absolute rock star. I thought at the end of last year, my daughter and I, getting better after our accident, we would have the whole family together for the holidays. And it just wasn't going to be. He decided that he would stay in the hospital, and they gave him the gnarliest dose of chemo that you could take. He was super healthy, ran 3 days a week, swam twice a week, active, no medical issues. So it was a shock when he went to the doctor, and they said, "You've got leukemia." And none of us expected that. And we didn't get to have him home for Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff. He stayed in the hospital for a little bit over a month, and he tolerated chemo amazingly well. They found a donor who was a 10 out of 10 match for him, and he prepared and went through another round of chemo to prep him for his stem cell transplant. And back in April, he had his stem cell transplant, and he was doing really good through his 100-day mark, and went back in the hospital and had some complications. And as they say, hospitals are for sick people. And we never imagined that he wouldn't come home after that. So please keep my family in your prayers, especially my mom. I know a lot of you guys got to know my mom a little bit through my accident. Her and my dad flew out and were with us for a month plus in Utah, in St. George, while we were in the hospital and recovering. Literally dropped everything. My dad brought his laptop from work and we did everything out there and was at my bedside, and there's pictures of him, that I have of him with me and wheeling me around in my wheelchair to get outside and get fresh air for the first time. And he was by my bedside every day and at the hospital. And he and my mom were absolutely amazing through it all. And I think it hurts the most knowing what my mom's gone through with my daughter and I, and now losing my dad. And so anyway, they are truly amazing, great people. And it just, it sucks. I was there when he passed away. He passed away peacefully at the hospital. He was surrounded by his loved ones. I think we should all be so lucky. Sorry if I'm oversharing, but I just want to reiterate the tightness of my family. Some of you have kind of gotten to know my family a little bit through social and things like that over the years of this podcast. In fact, he listened to this podcast, and he was my best friend. And it sucks. It sucks. And I think the things that kind of catch you or hurt the most, logically, I know he's gone. I was there. I saw it, and I was preparing myself for that when it looked like, that was going to be the outcome. And I realized, I think my last text to him was something about baseball. And just the other day, I pick up my phone to send him a funny meme or something from Babylon Bee that we would laugh about. And I realized my dad's not there anymore. And I'm never going to get to be able to send him another text message or laugh about the little things and all the stuff that he and I enjoyed together. So just wanted to start this episode by saying thank you to all of you for sticking with the podcast. I know I said that before, but it seems like here we are again. I'm going to do my best to catch up with episodes. I think for the next few, we'll run through a bunch of news that's been backed up for the last couple of weeks before we get into some longer form content again. So I apologize for that, but I kind of need to do this in smaller chunks right now. And please, again, pray for my family, pray for my mom. I don't know what else to say. It sucks. He was an amazing man. He was my buddy. We went on a lot of great adventures together, and we had a lot of fun. And I think of all, what are all the first you do with your dad? Learning to drive. And I remember when I was 16, my birthday was on a Wednesday, I think. And he couldn't take me to my driver's test till Friday afternoon. I was so bummed because it was like, no, my birthday is today. Why can't I have my driver's test today? So anyway, he made it the appointment for a Friday, so a couple days after my birthday. And he had a 1987 Honda Accord LXI. So you think of the old Hondas with the pop-up headlights. It was cool. Love that car. And took my driver's test. And when I passed, he handed me my own key to the car. He said, "Okay, this is going to be your car. I'm getting myself a different car, and this one's going to be for you." Had my first cigar with him, my first beers with him. Went out to the desert every year for 30 years on a yearly man trip with a bunch of his friends from high school and their kids. It's just all the things, He was there through my divorce. He was there through the birth of my kids. He was there on the very best days. He was there on the very worst days. And he was always a very kind, gentle, generous man that I could always rely on to be there for me. And when I needed him, he would stop everything. And I think whether the garage door was broken or there's a home improvement project or I messed something up and I needed help, and I'd like to think I was there for him too. I remember one time he ran out of gas on the freeway and he calls me and he goes, "Hey, I need some gas." I said, "Where are you?" He goes, "I'm on the 405. I said, "Does Mom know?" He goes, "No, don't tell her." So I went and rescued my dad on the side of the freeway with a can of gas. One of my favorite stories is we were taking out some planters in the front of my old house, and I said, "Dad," and he had a pickaxe. I said, "Dad, watch out for the water line." Yeah, I got it. What's my dad do? He nails the water line with the pick. And I lived at the corner house of a cul-de-sac, and it was I think it was a Sunday. It was either a Saturday or Sunday. It was a weekend. And it started flooding the neighborhood. And the amount of water coming out from our water line was ridiculous. So we're like, oh no. We ran to the city box on the sidewalk to turn off the valve. Well, my house was, 55 or 60 years old. Well, the valve broke. And now we had water coming out of everywhere. And Marin was with my mom that day. And this was before I got remarried, and in my current situation with my wife Denise and Abby now, it's just Marin and I in our old house, and my mom and Marin pull up, and the entire cul-de-sac is flooded up to the curb. And Marin says to my mom, "What did Pop do now?" It's one of those classic my dad moments that are so true to my dad. And we called the city, and they had to have the on-call emergency crew come out and replace the valve. It was a mess. And my dad was famous for these, what we used to call with our family, sir moments. And he just lived life in a way where he was unafraid of anything. And he's like, if that's cool, I'm going to go try it. So whether it was at a museum tour and he's walking behind the ropes and had somebody say, sir, you can't be there. One time we used to go to spring training all the time. He was a big Dodger fan, but the Angels were his quote unquote American League team. But we'd go to spring training. We usually pick up an Arizona game of the Dodgers and the Angels, and then find a weekend that the Angels and Dodgers played each other. And then he'd wear his Dodger gear and I'd wear his Angels gear, and I'd wear my Angels gear. And we'd go and enjoy the weekend, and it would just be a guy's trip. We'd go out there and we'd watch baseball, and I would get a different kind of cool car every year, right? And it was always fun to show up in something. I think we had a diesel Super Duty, we had a Mercedes E-Class, we had all sorts of stuff. It would just be like, hey, this is gonna be a fun road trip. And as you guys know, I've always been really tight with Nissan. And Nissan said, hey, if there's anything you want to drive that you haven't had a chance to, you're the truck guy. If there's any cars you want to drive, let us know. And I said, well, my dad and I do this trip every year. And we go to spring training. We drive from SoCal to Phoenix. I've never tested a GTR. And they're like, oh, you want a GTR? It's like, well, could I have one for the weekend? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I pulled up in my parents' driveway in a burgundy metallic GTR, beautiful car. I mean, if you're a supercar fan, it's the quintessential Grand Tour, all-wheel drive, twin-turbo V6, super powerful. Launch control consistently, I think in that non-Nismo model was 3.2 seconds all day long. Enormous amount of power from that. I think it was a 3.8 liter twin-turbo V6, direct injected. And my dad's like, oh, what is this? I'm like, a Nissan. He goes, oh, is this like a Z? I'm like, yeah, Dad, it's a Z. So we're driving on the 10 and there's nobody around and we're just booking it. But I haven't accelerated yet. And we're just driving fast. He's kind of in the passenger seat, minding his own business. And we get to the back of a truck, and the truck's doing 55. And I'm like, oh, we better pass this truck day. He's like, oh, okay. And I just stomped on it. And by the front of the truck, we were doing 130 or something like that. And he's like, what is this thing? So I pulled off the freeway. We did a couple of launch controls. I think I scared the crap out of him. And hopefully I gave him a good time. And I remember we got toward Wickenburg, and he's like, oh, Mom's calling. I'm like, okay, well, answer the phone. So she's like, hey, how are you guys doing? Fine. How's the progress? Good. Oh, we're already here. My mom's like, what? What do you mean you're already there? How fast are you driving? I looked at my dad like, what are you doing? You don't tell her where we're at. We're at the border. We haven't made it this far into Arizona. He's like, oh, sorry. And he wanted to go do a tour of the Diamondback Stadium in downtown. So we signed up for the tour, got the tickets, $20 or whatever it was. But it was we were I don't know, 35, 40 minutes early. My dad's like, I don't want to wait out here. Let's go walk around the stadium and just see what we can find. Okay. So we walk around the stadium, and there's a door open, and it says interviews today. And they were interviewing people for food services for the season. My dad's like, oh, we can get in right here. And I'm like, we can't get in. He goes, yeah, the door's open. So we walk through this door that's in the side of the stadium, past the security guard. He goes, oh, are you here for the interviews? My dad's like, yep. And I'm like, oh, my God, what? Oh, Dad. So I'm following him, and we walk past this room, and all these people are being interviewed, and we're on the mezzanine. And he's walking around the stadium. We're totally unaccompanied, two randos walking around the stadium. And here comes the golf cart with the flashing yellow light. And I'm like, oh, here we go. We're probably going to be arrested for trespassing. So the guy's like, hey, who are you guys? Well, what are you doing here? My dad's like, we're on the tour. I'm like, we're not on the tour. Oh my God, what are you doing? And the guy's like, this isn't the tour. He goes, yeah, we came in that door. I thought this was the tour. He goes, no, the tour's out front. So we got kicked out of the stadium. They didn't press charges or anything like that. We got to go on the tour, but we definitely got escorted out of the Diamondback Stadium. And that's always going to be one of those sir moments and one of those funny memories of my dad. And, when somebody close to you dies like that, you go through the photos and you think of all the things that you've done and all the times and the things he loved. The man loved ice cream. He loved baseball. He loved music. A lot of my friends, some of you listening maybe, have been at one of my epic summer parties, which probably won't be doing anymore, but we used to have 75 people in our backyard. My dad's band would play, and Marin would play with them toward the end. And I would cook, 45 pounds of barbecue, of meat. None would be left. And I like to share that with a lot of you who are close to me, and so many of you came to our parties over the years and enjoyed our summer party. And I'm really going to miss that. But I'm really, you know what I'm going to miss most? I'm going to miss sharing my dad with people. He was just such a good guy. And I know he made it. I know he made it to the other side. I didn't want this podcast to be sadder about it, but you guys, this is, I don't know, some like 550 episodes or something like this. I feel like you guys are my extended family, and I've shared so much with you over the years. I just wanted to share a little bit of my dad with you, and I wanted you guys to know why I haven't been recording in a little bit. So please bear with me as I kind of get back up to speed. It's been a really tough couple of weeks for the Holman family. He passed away on July 4th, and after we left the hospital in the mid-afternoon and we were trying to figure out what's next, I told my mom and my sister, I said, you know what? I'm going to go home and light fireworks because my dad loves fireworks. He loved the 4th of July. He loved America. I said he would be mad if we changed our plans on account of him. And so we all decided that was a good idea, and we came and enjoyed the rest of our 4th of July the best we could and all that stuff. So shout out to my dad, Bill Holman. Please, if you're the praying type, pray for him. Pray for my family. Pray for my mom. She has been such an amazing rock through the last couple, always, but especially through the last couple of years. She's such an amazing woman. So glad to be in a place where I only live a mile down the street from her, but I'm really going to miss my dad. So I just wanted to start the show, say thank you, and share a little bit about him and let you know why we haven't been around. And I'd also like to point out, once again, AMSOIL, they have been amazing for the show. They've been amazing through all the things that I've been with. They really believe in what we're doing here. And they said, hey, take your time. We know you'll make it right. We know you'll catch up. And so thank you, AMSOIL, for always being there and treating us like family and not just a business relationship. They really are some of the best people at one of the best companies I've ever worked with. So if you can support AMSOIL by buying their products, please know that when you spend money with AMSOIL, you're spending money with people that are real humans that care about the people that they work with. So, and so we'll get on with the show. And the Truck Show podcast is probably brought to you in partnership with AMSOIL. Obviously, they make some of the best synthetics on the planet. We use them in our vehicles, and they make a lot more than synthetic oil. They make lubricants, greases, additives, filters, car care products. So right now, the current promotion is free shipping on any order of $49 or more by using the code FREESHIP by 7/21, or you can add a bottle of AMSOIL Interior Detailer for only $5. I love this stuff. It's easy to use and designed for multi-surface use. It's got 90-day UV protection. It traps and eliminates odors, and you can get it in either scentless or light lemon. So you can use the code 5CLEAN726 or 5LEMON726, depending on whether you want the non-scented or the lemon-scented version. By 7/21, you get those for $5 attached to your order. So we use AMSOIL products to protect our rigs, and you can do the same by heading to AMSOIL.com or by using our link at truckshowpodcast.com and going under the featured products tab. Do you need a knife? Of course you do. Then head over to kershaw.kaiusa.com and explore their line of exceptional pocket knives. They have a huge selection of quality knives from EDCs and ones made in the USA, as well as automatics. Score one for yourself today. And if you want to treat yourself to the latest in adventure gear and upgrades for your vehicle, go to OVRmag.com and use the code @TruckShowPodcast for a discount on print or access to our digital library for 1 year for free. The Truck Show Podcast survives off of sponsorships and your reviews. Please help me to keep it free by supporting our sponsors and leaving reviews and comments on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So what do you say we get into it? Have you heard?
No!
I'm back, so let me tell you. There's so much news. I'm telling you, we have so much news backed up right now that I'm going to try and do as much as I can over the next few episodes. We'll get caught up on there. We've got some good content coming up here in the near future. There's some stuff that I had banked before all this happened, and so we'll get at it. And there's other stuff going on. I think I teased that I was looking at trucks, and in the Podshed Insiders, you guys are trying to guess what it is. Well, I believe it's getting dropped off tomorrow, my new truck, and I'll be officially back in the running pickup truck ranks again. Then I also have that Mopar Gladiator. It's back, finishing up some stuff on that, so I've been driving that, and there's a lot going on. So the first story we'll tackle is how much USA is in your American-made car. So there's something called the American-Made Index from Cars.com, and it highlights basically how much American content, or which, I guess I should say, which vehicles have the most American content Obviously, the auto industry has become global. And so this ranking focuses on vehicles that contribute the most to the U.S. economy through either domestic assembly, part sourcing, powertrain production, American jobs. And then, believe it or not, a lot of the highest ranking vehicles are foreign. In fact, 6 of the top 10 are from the Japanese. And then Asian brands account for 12 of the top 20 entries. And I also thought it'd be interesting to pick out which truck is the most made in America. So let's take a look at the list, and we'll start with number 10.
10.
All right, number 10 is the Honda Passport, which probably isn't a huge surprise since Honda has a lot of production here in the U.S. And I think you'll see as we go through the list, at least in these top 10, there's a lot of these companies that have reinvested in the United States or have been here for a long time and are moving manufacturing here. Next up.
9.
All right, number 9 is the Acura MDX, also on the same platform as the Passport.
8.
Then we have the Honda Accord.
7.
The Lexus TX350.
6.
The Honda Odyssey.
5.
The Honda Ridgeline. Now we're getting into some American brands.
4.
Jeep Grand Cherokee.
3.
Jeep Gladiator.
2.
Tesla Model Y. And number 1 is the Tesla Model 3. So what I find surprising about this list is how is the Jeep Gladiator at number 3 and Wrangler is not in the top 10 when they're literally both made in Toledo, Ohio, have almost the same components, the same supplier base. I have no idea why the Gladiator is so high and the Wrangler is not there. So Tesla is obviously a dominant force. They're an American company. They make their vehicles here. And Honda, Toyota, Acura, and others are benefiting from having their vehicles made in U.S. plants. And then there's several other models worth talking about. So the Toyota Tundra, the Kia EV9, the Ford Expedition, Ford Explorer, Lincoln Aviator, Lincoln Navigator, and Toyota Camry, they have all made big jumps. And the report shows that there are other familiar American-made vehicles or American-branded vehicles that moved down in the rankings or completely fell out of the top 20. So Chevy Colorado, Jeep Wrangler, still don't understand that one. Honda Pilot, don't really understand that one either because it's on the Passport platform as well. Nissan Pathfinder, Kia Sportage, they all lost ground. And it's been interesting to kind of read into this Cars.com report because it underscores how sourcing decisions and manufacturing locations and all that can influence the quote-unquote American-made status every year. So let's get into just the trucks, and I think you'll find this interesting. The next highest pickup behind the Gladiator is actually the Toyota Tundra at number 19, and that's built in Texas. And then the outgoing Hyundai Santa Cruz, which you can argue whether that's a truck or not, number 24. And then the GMC Canyon is at number 25. So I don't know, are you surprised by any of this? Here's some other interesting ones. 27, Ford F-150 Hybrid. 28, Ford F-150. So I guess that makes sense that those two are right there together. 29, Ford Ranger. All the way at number 30, so 5 spots below its platform mate, the GMC Canyon, is the Chevy Colorado. Not sure why the Chevy isn't right up there next to the GMC Canyon. Number 49 is the Toyota Tundra Hybrid. I'm guessing the batteries probably have a lot to do with that. 55 is the Ram 1500. 63 is the Nissan Frontier, which is also made in the U.S. 78, GMC Sierra 1500. 82, Chevy Silverado 1500. So I'm surprised that those are the only trucks that are in the top 100. And in this one, HD pickups were not included because this is more of a consumer list. So you can see the full criteria and the full report at cars.com. But the takeaway is just because the vehicle's badge is a U.S. brand, it doesn't necessarily tell you how American it is. So anyway, I suggest if you're interested in that list, go to cars.com and check it out. It's pretty cool. So a few episodes ago, we talked about the Chevy Silverado being unveiled. So GM finally unveiled the Sierra. So same engines as the Chevy. There's the new 5.7 or 6.6 liter small block V8s. These are the next gen ones. Plus the diesel 3 liters back. And the Turbo Max 2.7 liter 4-cylinder are also back. Now all of them are paired with a 10-speed auto, and the 8-speed's no longer a thing in the GM full-size truck lineup. The front end's more of an evolution, but I don't think it looks as clean or as good as the current truck. I went from loving the GMC more to, I think, liking the Chevy better, believe it or not. And it looks more like the electric GMC pickup. And I don't know, there was a really beautiful detailing, jewel-like intricacy design with the old GMC or the current one. The new one feels like they just changed it for the sake of changing it. I don't think it's better. But it does use a totally different dash, so that's pretty cool, including a 16.3-inch center display, and it articulates to reveal a storage cubby, so that's kind of cool also. And it comes with an optional 11.5-inch passenger screen, so a la Ram. Chevy's now adding that. Headrest speakers for a more immersive experience. You can get that on some of the Nissan products you've seen, and I think some of the luxury Cadillacs have that as well. GMC also offers more luxurious materials with things like wood and metal on the Denali Ultimate, which it also includes cool topographic stitching. There's special interior color themes, and it has that same sort of workspace that converts the center console into like a desk, and it even has MagSafe wireless phone chargers. So GMC will offer it in 4 trims. That's the Pro, the Elevation, the AT4, and the Denali. And the AT4X, like the Chevy counterpart, will feature 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory MT tires, Multimatic Jounce Control dampers, and an electronic locking rear differential, as well as a locking front diff. It also gets its own hood. There's a 2-inch suspension lift, unique grille, and a more rugged front bumper, and there will also be an AEV edition package returning to GMC as well. And I think that truck is phenomenal looking. I think the AEV editions are just gorgeous. Inside on the AT4X, you get unique trim, enhanced front seat bolsters, a flat bottom steering wheel, which I love, the panoramic sunroof, stainless steel speaker grills on the doors. Those are standard. And if you're a GMC fan, I think you're really going to like this truck. If you're on the fence between a Chevy or a GMC, it's going to come down to a design preference and options and things like that. I'm not sure one stands out above the other. They're just different. And I like that. I like that as far as badge engineering goes, the GMC has a different interior, dash, different styling. So it looks like a different truck, and they've done a better job of differentiating those two brands. So I do like that about it. So here's kind of something that's been teased, and we had Jack Roush Jr. on the show, I don't know, not too long ago, and we talked about their love affair with Ford and how they got into the Nissan program. Well, Roush Performance recently teased a new Ram 1500 street truck. My take on this is that they're going to maybe do and push further than what Ram was able to do with the new Rumblebee, but we'll see. I think when Roush attacks something, it goes all in, and Tim Kuniskis, who's the CEO of Ram, told the media that the Fox Factory DC650 was only the beginning of what Ram had planned in the performance truck space. So now it looks like Roush is jumping in as well, or you can get the Rumblebee, but if you go to Roush Performance, there was a pretty cool Summer of 26 tile on Instagram or a post on Instagram that had the Roush logo times the Ram logo and the outline of a truck. And it does look like it's a quad cab and not a crew. So maybe it's based on the Rumblebee, which would be interesting, but it kind of has that profile vibe. So I'm really curious to see what Roush Performance does with it, because they're always top notch when they attack a vehicle platform. And I teased within the last couple episodes that Ford has really been working hard to make their quality better. And the Ford F-150 has earned the top spot in the full-size, light-duty pickup segment in the 2026 J.D. Power U.S. Initial Quality Study, what's called the IQS. It finished ahead of the Silverado 1500, as well as the Toyota Tacoma, and it tied for first place a year ago. The F-150 is all by itself this year, not sharing that top spot with anybody. And so Ford's hoping that reinforces its reputation for strong build quality and owner satisfaction. And the F-150 winning is part of that broader success for Ford Motor Company. The Mustang was named the highest quality sporty car, and the Ford Super Duty led the heavy-duty pickup segment. So it was the second consecutive year that all three of those Ford models topped their respective categories. So again, Ford is making those dramatic improvements, and they climbed up from 14th place last year to 3rd overall, and they're now becoming the highest-ranked mass-market automaker. And I think you can see it in their score because they improved from 193 problems per 100 vehicles to 152 in 1 year. And that's a huge jump. And as you know, Ford is really making an aggressive push for quality. So it'll be interesting to see if Ford hangs on to that crown for next year. And I think if you're buying a Ford right now, despite all the recalls, it's probably a pretty safe bet. All right, let's get into some quick hits.
Quick hits. Quick hits.
All right, I love that jingle. The 26 Jeep Recon, which is late to the party because what is it, July, and the 26s are just coming out. They should just be hitting dealerships now, and the build and price tool is up on Jeep.com, and it's been fun to play with. I was clicking all the options and stuff, so I decided if I optioned everything, it comes out to $77,000 all in for the EV off-roader, And this one is all EV, although there is a gas version that's coming. It starts at $68,990, including destination, but it has 650 horsepower and 620 pound-feet of torque. And Jeep estimates that the Recon can go 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds and deliver 250 miles of all-electric driving range. And the Recon, think of it as if it wasn't electric, the best way to think about it is like if the Wrangler had a hardtop and was more in line with like a 4Runner competitor. That's sort of what the Recon is. So it'll be interesting to see, A, how the EV version is received, and B, once there's a gas version of it, once there's a gas version of it, how does that impact the marketplace? Will people be comparing it and cross-shopping 4Runner and things like that? It'll be interesting to see who the competitor is on that. Also, word has it, and I know this isn't a truck, but it's still super cool. The Honda Element's coming back. And if you know Hondas, the Element was super, super loved. And even today, you can go down to Ursa Minor, who does the Bronco and Wrangler pop-up tents, and they buy up all these old Elements to do these campers with. So I'll be interested to see what the next generation Honda Element looks like when it comes back. Also, Hyundai Kia wants to sanitize your vehicle with UV light. They call it Plasma Care UVC, and it uses UVC light in the 200 to 230 nanometer wavelength. It's basically designed to kill bacteria but not harm your skin, and they see that as a way to sanitize like minivans and things like that. So who knows if it's just a concept or if it'll actually enter production here in the U.S. Have no idea, but it's an interesting idea. All right, Ford has dropped, this is sad, a little bit sad, Ford has dropped the most excellent 5-liter V8 from both the King Ranch and the Platinum for 27. Boo! Yeah, boo. But you can still get it in the XL, the STX, the XLT, the Lariat, and my favorite, the 5-liter Tremor. I think that's the sleeper truck in Ford's lineup right there. All right, for those of you who are General Motors fans but hate the rust issues, I guess is the best way to put it, the 27 Chevy Silverado 1500 and GMC Sierra 1500, which of course both being redesigned. According to the industry reports, they're going to start walking away from the current wax-coated frame treatment, and they're going to adopt e-coating for their frames, which is sort of an industry standard for a lot of manufacturers, and that begins again with the redesigned 27 model year. And last up, the TRX ordering is available now, and if you have wanted a 777 horsepower pickup truck, you can order that, and hopefully they will be arriving within a month or two at dealerships. I think the production's already started on it. And funny side note, I know you guys love Lightning, but he texted me a few weeks back, and he goes, hey, what's the difference between my 702 horsepower and 777? I heard it was just a tune.
Lightning, 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 lightning.
Well, it turns out it's not just a tune. So can't just do a tune and upgrade the old TRX to the new TRX. So here's what has changed between Lightning's TRX, the original one, and the new one with 777 horsepower. Obviously, Ford came out with the Raptor R and bumped that up to 720. So SRT needed at least 19 horsepower, but they said, no, we're going to come back with 75. And so they kind of used some hot rod parts. And the old TRX had this really nice power curve, but the top end sort of fell off because its ability to breathe. So they swapped in the valve train from the Red Eye, and that let the Hellcat engine in the new TRX rev a little higher. So it goes up 300 RPM more, and it rides that curve further because it has more RPM. The 2.4-liter twin-screw supercharger has a smaller pulley. So the previous TRX was a 3.43-inch, and the new one's a 3.17-inch.
This place blows.
And then it's fed by a new cold air intake system. There's also a brand new fueling setup. So pressure jumps from 5 bar to 7 bar. And that's how they came up with 777 horsepower. So it's a little bit more than just doing a tune. If you're curious and you have that same question, I figured might as well bring that up. And that way, you know. So there you go. Next time you're drinking beers on a Friday night, armchair racing your friend, you can say it's not exactly the same. There are some actual mechanical differences between the two engines. All right, that's going to do it for quick hits. But I think we can get into a couple of recalls.
Check engine light just went on. Noise under the hood takes like a bomb. Recall covers metal, glass, leather, and plastic. Door handle pulled off in my hand. Just fantastic.
Well, I know we just said Ford's quality is getting way better, but apparently if you own a 21 or 26 Ford Bronco Sport or Maverick, you may have been hit with a do not drive order. So Ford's recalling certain, not all, 21 to 26 Maverick and Bronco Sport models, and that has to do with a control arm issue. So the front lower control arm ball joint might have been incorrectly installed or repaired at the vehicle assembly plant, and it could allow the control arm to disconnect from the front wheel knuckle. Oops, that's not great. So the affected vehicles, again, 21 to 26 Ford Maverick and Bronco Sport vehicles, they think it affects 4,653. Owners have been advised not to drive their vehicles until the fix is ready, and dealers will inspect and repair the lower front control arm ball joints as necessary under this campaign. So the Ford customer service is 1-866-436-7332, and the recall number is 26S36. So if you're wondering if your vehicle is impacted, then you can just take it to the dealer and they can run your VIN. And again, you can reference the recall number 26S36. And then we'll add one in here from GM as well. Chevy Silverados have been recalled again over faulty roof rail airbags. So certain Chevy Silverado 1500s and Silverado HDs are being recalled. There's an issue that stems from defective roof rail airbags. So there have been a whole host of recalls about this. There was one in August of 2020, December of 2020, July of 21, October of 24, July of 25, and March of 26, I believe. And so this is the seventh time that the Silverado has been recalled for the roof rail airbags. So what's happening is in the affected vehicles, the airbag end cap might separate as the airbag inflates, and that could result in components entering the cabin. So basically, not shrapnel, but debris coming from the inflation process, which obviously isn't good. If you need this device to save your life, it's bad for it to shoot things out while you're in a situation that would require a side curtain airbag. So the inflator sidewall could split or the end cap could separate. If the inflator fails, it can lead to gas escaping, and that's where the end cap flies into the cabin. GM's told dealers replace the affected roof rail airbags. Replacement parts will include inflators from outside the defective batch that made it into the vehicles. The affected vehicles are 2018 Silverado 1500s and 2019 Silverado 25 and 3500s, and they're not totally sure right now how many units are affected. But the GM recall number on that is N262557310, and customer service for Chevy is 1-800-222-1020. So there you go. If you got one of those trucks, beware. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Truck Show Podcast. Have you heard? And man, I made it through. I'm sorry, this probably wasn't the best episode we've ever had, but getting back on the horse, and thank you for bearing with me. Please, if you love the Truck Show Podcast, be sure to leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. You can follow us on socials at Truck Show Podcast, at Sean P. Holman. You can always email us to be a part of the show, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. And again, we want to thank AMSOIL, one of the most amazing companies out there who makes an amazing product. And remember, the current promotion, free shipping with any order over $49 or more by using the code FREESHIP by 7/21/26. Or you can add on a bottle of AMSOIL Interior Detailer for only $5 to your order. And you can use the code 5CLEAN726 or 5LEMON726 by 7/21/26. If you need a new knife, head over to kershaw.kaiusa.com. And if you want access to an awesome magazine, OVR Magazine, you can go to OVRmag.com and use the code @TruckShowPodcast. And again, please don't forget to leave us a review. We've got some stuff coming up. I think Mike Rice is going to join me, and we're going to talk about Holman buying a new pickup. So that's going to be in the next couple of weeks. We'll get some more news out coming soon, and very much appreciate you guys for listening. I love you all so much. Having this podcast and having the group of people, especially everybody who interacts with us on the Podshed Insiders on Facebook, means so much to me. And that's going to do it for this episode. So we'll do it again real soon. Thank you, everybody.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis, hosted by Sean Holman, and uses production elements by DJ Omar Khan and Jay Tillis. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and leave us a 5-star review. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to support the show than by sharing it and patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.